After the zombie crisis broke out, my girlfriend and I have been trapped in the basement for a whole year. When the rescue team found us, they had fear written all over their faces. Both my girlfriend and I are orphans. In our past lives, we lived in a cheap rental house, and the flimsy door couldn't withstand the impact of the zombie horde. On the first day of the zombie outbreak, we embraced each other as we were overwhelmed by zombies. I was woken up in the middle of the night by a sudden phone alarm. I suddenly sat up, shocked by everything around me. I realized I had been reborn only after I opened my phone, and it turns out I've been reborn to just a month before the apocalypse breaks out. Looking at my girlfriend sleeping sweetly in front of me, I couldn't help but clench my fists. The zombie outbreak caught us off guard in the previous life, and I couldn't protect her properly. This time, with 30 days to prepare, I'm going to build a doomsday fortress just for us. I've organized the information and submitted a vacation request to my boss. I don't care anymore whether she approves it or not. In the morning, I didn't tell my girlfriend about the impending doomsday because she's going on a business trip for a few days. I plan to tell her after I've prepared everything. After my girlfriend left, I calculated that our savings, despite living frugally all these years, amounted to less than $200,000. I arrived at the real estate agency early in the morning after daybreak. Last time, it was because of that cheap rental house that we couldn't fend off the zombies. After a whole afternoon of introduction by the agent lady, I finally chose an old villa in the city center that has been neglected for a long time. The villa has 3 floors and comes with a basement. Although it's in a state of disrepair, you can tell that it was built with high quality materials and still looks sturdy and solid. The whole villa area is sandwiched between 2 huge office buildings, with a lot of greenery and tall landscape trees planted in the community, which can block the zombies' line of sight in case of a doomsday outbreak. In addition, the road in front of the residential area is under construction, and the authorities have put up many barriers and fences, prohibiting pedestrian access. As a result, the entire villa area has turned into a natural fortress. Without any hesitation, I paid the 20,000 yuan rent and signed the rental contract with the agency. In the afternoon, I drove to the largest building materials market in the city. Just in case, I plan to reinforce the entire villa. I finally bought all the renovation materials I needed, including 10 pairs of special steel for decoration, 2 solar generators, electric drills, saws, nails, and hammers, until the sun went down. The next day at 6 o'clock, I drove to the largest wholesale market in the city again. I'm planning to transform my balcony into a small vegetable garden. I purchased 10 packets of various vegetable seeds, 100 bags of nutrient soil, and 5 rolls of special plastic film for greenhouses. The zombie virus can infect water sources first, so I bought 10 large water storage tanks and installed them on the rooftop. I also installed 2 water purification devices. When I returned to the villa, it was already dark. I kept busy until midnight before finally moving all the stuff into the villa. On the 3rd day, I drove to the department store again. Long-term stored food is the most important supply during the apocalypse. As soon as I got off the car, I went into a shopping frenzy. I bought 50 bags of rice, flour, and noodles each, and 20 tubs of various seasonings. I also got 10 boxes of dehydrated vegetables and frozen food ingredients, 5 boxes of fish and beef sauce, 20 boxes of mineral water and carbonated alcoholic beverages, and 20 boxes each of instant noodles, self-heating rice, and self-heating hot pot. I was so tired when moving goods at night that I started doubting life. At first, I thought about ordering online, but with so many items, going through delivery and takeout services added a lot of risk. In the end, I only ordered some items that are not available in the market. On the 4th day, I drove to the clothing wholesale market. There were 100 sets of bedsheet 4-piece sets, 50 sets of men's and women's clothes for each season, and 100 sets of underwear. In the afternoon, I rushed to the wholesale market again and bought a large quantity of sanitary products for my girlfriend. On the way back home, my girlfriend called and asked, "What are you doing, honey? Why did you buy so many things?" After thinking for a moment, I realized I was ready. It's time to tell her. I told her in a serious tone to come back soon. My girlfriend got worried when she heard my tone, so she didn't hesitate and hurried back home. After moving all the supplies into the villa at night, I hurried to the rental house. As soon as I walked in, I saw my girlfriend's figure and quickly embraced her tightly. "Maria, listen to me. In 26 days, the end of the world is going to happen." My girlfriend put her hand on my forehead and asked, "Are you feverish? Why are you talking nonsense?" Seeing that she didn't believe me, I quickly told her everything about the zombie outbreak. After I looked into her eyes, I said solemnly, "I don't want to die, and I don't want you to die either. I want us to live happily together." Seeing my serious expression, my girlfriend finally believed me. She got up, took out her phone, and counted the supplies in the room. "According to what you said about the doomsday scenario, these supplies are definitely not enough." The next day, we spent $3,000 to rent a big truck and went to the largest supermarket in town to fill up the truck with supplies. On our way back to the villa, we made a stop at the pharmacy and bought 2 boxes of medications that were within reason and regulations. When we arrived back at the villa, it was already 9 p.m. As there aren't many residents in the community, my girlfriend and I took advantage of the night and installed the water tank we had bought earlier. We also moved the 5 ice chests and all the supplies into the basement. We have almost spent all our savings on purchasing supplies, so we will have to do the renovation and moving ourselves in the next few days. The windows of the villa originally had reinforced explosion-proof glass, and the door is an old-fashioned wrought iron security door, so we don't need to reinforce these 2 aspects. The villa has been empty for a long time, and the yard is surrounded by a 2-meter-high iron fence covered with weeds, completely blocking the view of the entire yard. We crumpled purchased cellophane to create creases, stuck them on all windows to simulate shattered glass effect. After completing this, the entire villa looked like it had been vandalized from the outside, deterring other survivors from discovering it effectively. We used the steel we purchased before to reinforce all the doors and windows, and then followed an online tutorial to covert the basement door into a secret hidden door. We have also installed soundproofing cotton and ventilation ducts in the basement, so even if someone breaks into the villa, we can hide in the basement and stay safe. We turned the spacious balcony into a soil area and planted the vegetable seeds we bought there. At least, we can ensure to have fresh vegetables to eat in case of an apocalypse. The rooftop of the villa is covered with solar panels, providing enough electricity for our basic needs every day. There is a small water tank on the rooftop. I cut open the top of the tank to collect rainwater, then connected a pipe to the toilet for flushing. Air purifiers and water purifiers have been installed separately on the upper floor and in the basement. We then took out 10 cameras and installed 8 of them in various areas of the villa. The remaining 2 were installed on the office buildings on both sides under the cover of night. This way, after the zombie outbreak, we can monitor all activities around the villa. We have 7 days left before the zombie outbreak. We splurged our last 5,000 yuan, and on the final day, we walked hand in hand towards the villa. After we had a candlelit dinner at home, we embraced and went to sleep. The next day, I was woken up by my girlfriend saying, "Honey, wake up, the zombie virus has really broken out." I quickly got up and turned on my phone. Just like in the past life, there were sudden zombie attacks happening all around the world, and no one knew where it all started. They only bite living people, and are particularly sensitive to sound and blood. Those bitten by them will rise again as one of them in just 5 minutes. I quickly switched my phone to the monitoring app. From the office building surveillance, the whole street is in chaos. Cars are crashing into each other and people are screaming and running everywhere. It took a while for my girlfriend to come to her senses. Didn't the authorities send any troops? I explained helplessly that in my past life, I received the official rescue message early on, but the rescue never came until we were overrun by zombies. If it was just isolated cases of biting, it should have been easy to control. But for some reason, in just a month, most countries around the world have fallen. It seems like the zombie virus might have other, more powerful ways of spreading. My girlfriend looks a bit pale, but don't worry too much. I just hope that we can live as long as possible in this apocalypse. On the 3rd day of the zombie outbreak, power and water supply in the city started to be cut off. There are already zombies wandering in the residential area. It's unclear how these residents got infected. I was lying on the couch smoking a cigar and scrolling through my phone. Unfortunately, the internet connection went down shortly after. I could only see posts from a few hours ago on the forum, where someone said it's nature's way of punishing humans. The weather has been getting extreme lately. It reaches a scorching 50 degrees during the day, and the freezing cold wind at night makes it unbearable. We're afraid that the noise from the air conditioner might attract zombies, so we'll just add more blankets and huddle together to keep warm. After 1 month of the zombie outbreak, city traffic has completely collapsed, with countless abandoned vehicles littering the highways. In the scorching heat of 50 degrees, the entire city reeks of decay. Groups of zombies slowly roam the streets, searching for any trace of humans. I turned on the camera and saw a little boy on the monitor, carefully avoiding zombies as he made his way to the convenience store. My girlfriend and I nervously watched his every move, our hearts racing. Will he make it? Suddenly, the boy accidentally stepped on the broken glass on the ground, making a noise, and eventually, he was found by zombies 50 meters away from the convenience store. At the sound, the zombies rushed towards the boy at an astonishing speed. In just a moment, the boy was overwhelmed by the zombies, and soon after, another blooded little zombie appeared on the street. Watching this scene, I have mixed feelings. I don't know how many times this has happened already. We're not saints, but we're not heartless either. The zombie outbreak happened so suddenly that almost every household is running low on food. After finishing their supplies, people have to risk going out to find resources. Some strong individuals armed themselves to find a safe zone, but unfortunately, they all turned into the roaming zombies in the city. 40 days after the zombie outbreak, it suddenly started raining, but the daytime temperature not only didn't drop, it actually became even hotter. It's strange that the rain is mixed with black substances, staining the villa black. From outside, it doesn't look like a place where people can live. At noon, we quickly made 2 portions of spaghetti. Just as we were about to go to bed after eating and drinking, we heard a sudden explosion in the distance. My girlfriend and I looked at each other and quickly turned on the surveillance cameras in the office building. An explosion happened with a car on a distant street, and all the zombies rushed towards the sound. After the zombies left, a group of people carrying big bags sneaked into the convenience store from the side. 1 hour later, there were 2 more explosions at the entrance of the community. This time I saw clearly that someone in the residential building threw 2 Molotov cocktails at a car parked on the roadside. Following closely behind the group that had entered the convenience store earlier, they quickly rushed out with bags of items. We won't be able to see them anymore. I don't know if they safely entered the residential building in the community, but they did give me an idea, using sound to attract zombies' attention. Over the next few days, several groups of people from the neighborhood across the street gradually emerged, all dressed similarly to the group from before, and they got a lot of supplies from the convenience store. Watching them loot the convenience store over and over again, I can't help but feel a bit uneasy. 50 days after the zombie outbreak, the daytime temperature has risen to 55 degrees. I was lying on the floor with my girlfriend, eating watermelon and watching the surveillance on my phone while feeling like there are more zombies outside lately. Honey, quickly look, my girlfriend just called me in a panic. In the surveillance footage, a woman was seen hanging on the balcony of a high-rise building, gripping the window ledge tightly as if trying to climb up. However, from inside the balcony, a broom kept hitting the woman's hands. Before long, the woman fell down and was overwhelmed by zombies. After reading so many doomsday novels, I already knew how dangerous people's hearts can be in the apocalypse. But seeing it with my own eyes still shocked me deeply. Just as I was lost in thought, a roar came from the zombie horde. Just now, the woman who fell down turned into a zombie and climbed up the building so fast, completely different from the slow-moving zombies before. In just a few seconds, she climbed up to the previous balcony and jumped into the room. I was sweating bullets watching that scene. My girlfriend looked shocked at me. I quickly explained that I had no idea what was going on. We died too early in our past lives and had never encountered such zombies before. My girlfriend remained silent, her mouth slightly agape, holding tightly onto my hand. We thought we were well prepared based on our past life experiences. I believed I had everything under control, but now it seems things are completely different. I took a big gulp of water and forced myself to calm down. Since that female zombie can climb walls, there must be other mutated zombies around. It looks like our villa is no longer as safe as we thought. For safety, we moved everything except plants into the basement and reduced our activities. It's crowded, but at least it's safer than being outside. 2 months after the zombie outbreak, it started raining again. The rain lasted for 3 days and nights, and it was so heavy that I couldn't see the surveillance footage clearly. After the rain stopped on the 3rd day, I checked the surveillance again and found that there were even more zombies outside. An official text message has been received on the phone. Survivors, please note that the officials have intensified the establishment of shelters. All survivors are requested to reduce activities and wait for rescue. Seeing this message, both my girlfriend and I feel much more at ease. It seems like the authorities haven't given up on us yet. The next day, there was a zombie outside the neighborhood who could high jump. Every time it encountered an obstacle, it would take a run up, then jump over it like a high jumper, before falling heavily to the ground. I was scared watching the CCTV, afraid that he might accidentally fall and hurt himself. Finally, as he climbed over the fence outside the neighborhood, the poor guy ended up falling hard onto the spikes of the railing. I looked around and felt uneasy as I saw more and more zombies. I wondered what was causing the increase in the number of zombies around us. On the 70th day of the zombie outbreak, the usually half-dead zombies suddenly became extremely aggressive. They kept banging on the houses around them. Even our villa area was not spared. The gate of the neighborhood was knocked open not long ago, and a large group of zombies quickly surrounded the few villas where we are. My girlfriend and I stared at the monitor intently until it got dark, and the zombie horde slowly dispersed. We finally escaped the danger. My legs went weak and I sat down on the ground. That night, I started to analyze the phenomenon of zombies getting angry. It took about 8 hours from the zombies hitting the house to the end. During this time, they seemed to know that humans were hiding inside, but when they found them, they didn't immediately bite and infect them. During the day, I witnessed a person who was found by zombies get torn into pieces after escaping. The zombie's speed became slower after going berserk, but they would turn aggressive and quick again when they hear a sound. 70 days after the zombie outbreak, I heard gunshots in the basement and got excited, thinking it was the rescue team. I quickly grabbed my phone to check the cameras. I saw 3 modified buses driving on the street, with 2 people standing on the roof holding guns. The zombies nearby tried to approach the buses, but were shot in the head one by one. One woman is wearing a tight-fitting outfit that accentuates her perfect figure and makes her stand out. The day after the convoy passed through, several small cars followed the route cleared by the buses from the previous day and entered the street. However, instead of using machine guns like the 3 buses before, they used long knives to kill the attracted zombies. After clearing a prominent area, they started to tidy up on the spot, laying out white fabric to mark the safety base. My girlfriend uncertainly asked me, "Is this the search and rescue team?" I shook my head, suppressed the strange feeling rising in my heart, and remained silent. As time passed, many survivors who couldn't hold on for long started running towards the convoy. Each of them was placed in the middle of the group. Some had been on edge for too long and started crying with excitement. However, when no one else appeared, the group unexpectedly pointed their guns at the survivors. I was shocked to see before me a twist in events. They had guns, but didn't use them to kill zombies. Instead, they used saving people as an excuse to loot supplies. A woman with a child, clutching the last of her belongings in her backpack, knelt on the ground begging desperately. The person trying to steal her bag, without any hesitation, shot at the woman. This gun scared everyone, so people obediently handed over their belongings to stay alive. The convoy quickly left after receiving the supplies without any hesitation. It was only then that I realized why they didn't start shooting in the beginning. A large group of zombies were attracted by the sound of gunshots. People who stayed in place panicked and started running back to escape. A child, who lost their mother, stayed in place crying and was overwhelmed by the zombie horde. On the 75th day of the zombie virus outbreak, we are facing the second wave of zombies. This time, the fence around the villa has been almost knocked down, only able to maintain a height of less than half a meter. I am relieved that the zombie wave has dispersed in time, but I am also afraid that if it happens again, will I be able to resist it? I sighed heavily with a furrowed brow. On the 78th day of the zombie virus outbreak, we encountered the third convoy. The convoy happened to choose the villa area where I live for repairs. After clearing the zombies from the community, they blocked the gate again. Maria and I don't know how long they will be staying here, so just in case, we haven't cooked any meals. We're just eating some bread, cookies, milk, and things like that. The personnel in the convoy are very diverse, including young people, middle-aged people, elderly people, men, women, and children. Initially, I thought they were several different families, but later I realized that they should be one family. Everyone in the convoy is self-sufficient and never bothers others for help. They also don't take resources from the community when they enter. They rested here for 2 days. When they left, one of the kids waved at the surveillance camera on the tree, which gave me a big scare. They must have noticed someone in the neighborhood early on, but they chose not to bother us. I couldn't help but sigh in my heart, thinking about how swiftly they dealt with zombies, like cutting vegetables. That's confidence. It's been 98 days since the zombie virus outbreak. The zombie wave has passed for several days. The doors and windows have been hit again, but they probably won't hold up next time. There was a crack on the window, so my girlfriend and I moved all the furniture in front of it, hoping it would help. After autumn arrived, the fallen leaves covered up many of the marks. Helicopters have started flying over the sky, leading the zombies in a certain direction. Soon we could hear gunshots in the distance. Finally, the authorities have started clearing the zombies. When the fourth wave of zombies hit more than 20 days later, there were already far fewer zombies, but our glass still shattered. Zombies flooded into the house. Luckily, we made the entrance to the basement a secret door. Zombies have no intelligence. They can't figure out where the secret door is. They just keep pacing back and forth at the entrance. When the zombie tide ends, the peaceful zombies stay in the villa and don't leave. We are also trapped in the basement and dare not go up. On the 130th day of the virus outbreak, another group of people appeared in the community. I don't know what to say anymore. When we chose this place, it looked so rundown that we thought no one would come here. But now, out of the 4 groups that have passed by, 2 of them decided to rest in our neighborhood. The new group that came in still blocked the main door, but they were not as polite as the previous group. They came in wielding weapons and started searching every house one by one. As soon as they finished one mansion, they immediately went to the next one, until a group of them arrived at our house, quietly opened the door, and found a whole room full of zombies. I can see them through the monitor, with their mouths wide open. The leader is trying to close the door, but it's too late. The zombies behind the door instantly rush towards them. The people behind are resisting and running towards the car to meet up with those staying behind. After killing all the zombies in this room, they had lost 5 teammates, perhaps due to the casualties. The remaining ones had no more interest in searching, so they quickly tied it up and left, and that's how we escaped another disaster. 6 months after the outbreak of the zombie virus, we started to see military presence on the streets. Now, it's rare to see zombies wandering on the roads nearby. Most of them are trapped in buildings, and the military is clearing them out house by house. We were discovered by soldiers in the villa area, and that's when I realized how lucky we were. The safe zone is built on a base of city walls. Less than 2 kilometers away from us, there's a 3-kilometer buffer zone near the safe zone, keeping most of the zombies beyond that 3 kilometers. So the doomsday we've always feared has already been averted by someone else on our behalf. With the help of the military, we arrived at a safe base with a group of survivors. After undergoing a series of checks, we received new identification documents and were given thick survival manuals with a lot of safety reminders. Finally, my girlfriend and I found a 60 square meter small house. The safety base requires everyone to have a job and encourages people to search for supplies in the buffer zone while ensuring safety. We borrowed a car and brought back all the remaining supplies from the villa to the cabin. 1 year after the zombie virus outbreak, national communication has returned to normal, with safety bases of all sizes across the country now connected. The current registered population is less than 1/10 of what it was before the virus outbreak. 2 years after the zombie virus outbreak, scientists have developed a vaccine to defend against the zombie virus. It took 3 months, but all the residents in the safe safe zone have been vaccinated. We no longer have to worry about turning into monsters like those outside the safe zone. In May of the same year, the country announced the Wall Plan, determined to keep all zombies out of the national territory. 3 years after the zombie virus outbreak, we have become the world's leading superpower. Thanks to population growth, the struggle between humans and zombies continues as more and more zombies keep crossing the border.